Hello, my friends. Today's date is January the 5th, and this is a reading for you if this is your birth date, or if this is an anniversary or a special occasion date, but primarily a birthday reading for the year to follow. It's a four-card pull, a general energy card for the year, a challenge you might face this year, an action you can take to stay in balance, and an outcome or synopsis card. And this is the general energy card. A reflection, perhaps, is the best way to look at this as to what can you reflect upon this year as it goes along to see where you're at with this reflection or with yourself. So this is the prayer, and the prayer talks about often, prayers are when we are humble and low and quiet and surrendered and willing to ask for guidance and willing to ask for clarity and willing to ask for help from our creator, from our higher consciousness, from any being of a higher ideal and a higher purpose that we affix to our consciousness, to our particular path and our particular journey. And this says, I think, in a lot of ways, that this is a year where you might be listening for some kind of guidance and listening for some kind of direction and listening for some kind of softness, which means you might have to surrender and be quiet and be humble and ask with a loving intention to get what is for the highest good of yourself and other beings and all other beings. Prayer is a lot about service to others, not just service to oneself. And a prayer that is just for oneself is often, a sense of selfishness, but a prayer that is extended out into the universe to benefit as many people as it can and to benefit all people if it can, is a powerful prayer. And again, prayers don't necessarily come true in the moment that we ask them, in the way that we ask them, in the if they come true at all. But most of the time, our prayers come true to us, and it takes its own time and it takes its own right. Because who are we to say that we need to control the entire universe and have this something specific happen when we don't know what the universe is going through? We don't know what the rest of humanity needs to experience. So sometimes our personal stuff is lost in the bigger picture of the world and humanity and peoples and clans and cultures and family, and we don't know what each one of them needs to learn, and to superimpose our own uh, prayer, our own desire, our own clear outcome for something to happen doesn't allow what is best for everything to happen. You can put out a really clear, distinct prayer and say, if this is what is able to happen today for the highest good of myself and others, then let this be. And if there is something better that can happen for the good of myself and others, then let that take precedence and not give into the things that I can't see and the quests that I don't know about. But I can still pray. I can still ask for guidance. I can still ask for clarity. I can still ask for peace. I can still ask for the outside world to be more like my internal world I wish to see, and see what happens. So what is your particular challenge January the 5th? Well, it is the Ace of Wands, and what is wands but fire and inspiration and purpose and sacred purpose and willpower and self-definition and ego. So generally this card says you have a strong ego, and you have a strong sense of your connection to your spirit, and you're out manifesting what you wish to see in the world, and If your sacred intention is merged with your physical intention, very powerful things can happen. And the Ace of Wands is one of those that connects into the sacred part of self and the understanding part of self and the vibrational healing part of self and the fiery part of self that wishes to make a change in the world, wishes to call the sacred into the communion, but doesn't necessarily, your challenge is that you don't necessarily either believe it or trust it or think that you can do it or think that you're the representative that needs to do it. So there's some doubt, I think, that's playing through this about who do you pray to? What do you pray for? Is it going to have any response? Is it going to have any outcome that you can see? Is it almost a sense of, is the physical world against me, and how do I move forward if I feel like I can have no effect in it? So this is the action card to take, and it's Crow, and Crow speaks to me about. They love to give the crow the essence of law, the essence of. This is a great reading about Crow, is that Crow is about spiritual law and not necessarily about human law. Humans make laws just so we can all kind of get along and be civilized and allow as many possibilities as happen, yet in a narrow outlined way that says, oh, but don't go over these lines, and don't go over these lines, and don't go over these lines, because then you'll be against the law. But those laws are often unfair, unjust, skittered to one family or clan or country or person, rather than to treating everyone equally and wisely and clearly and succinctly. So, but there's a spiritual law that that we have been given many times through many different religions. Love yourself, love your neighbors as yourself, treat the outsider with kindness, love and serve all humanity, um, do the things that really benefit you but benefit others, and helps everyone to grow. So there's a spiritual law that supersedes the human law in many ways, and we have to juggle that concept of, well, my spiritual law says I should not kill someone, but my physical law, whoever my president maybe, is enacting laws that are killing people, and I don't have a say in that, and I don't have a word in that, but this is my country, and this is my president, and how do I fight against this? How do I hold my own integrity? How do I say my own prayers? Well, you have to say your prayers, whatever that means, and you have to say your prayers for the highest good and the holiest good of all beings, to whoever you say it to, and then you have to trust that it's being heard and it's being dealt with in its own time, in its own right, but you might not see it on the physical level, because the physical humans might have to go through something very dynamic in order to change, and those who have a higher consciousness might have to be drug along in it. But can you keep your integrity? Can you keep your higher consciousness? Can you keep your connection to your sacred spirit and still maintain, a bigger trust in the universe, a bigger trust in the humanity of people, in the everyday physical world of being? Can you open your heart and still love the pain that people create? Well, still love not necessarily the pain that they create, but love the people, knowing that the pain that they create is built up from something else in their life that they've had to go through and they're learning about. And maybe you can't see that, but you have to still give it the power to change and grow and thrive and become sacred for all beings. So the crow asks you to step out, give yourself the voice that you need, give yourself the passion and the fire that you need, hold to your own integrity, pray for something that's wise and healing for all of humanity, pray for the justness and the fairness and the equality that might be needed in any situation. Pray for peace, pray for sustenance, pray for the foods and shelters and clothing you need, pray for your soul to be lifted and for you to see everything from a higher realm and a holier realm and a more sacred realm. And in that way do you come to this final card, the outcome or synopsis card. And I think this is about being kind and gentle on your heart when your heart looks out at a lot of different things that it doesn't like or agree with or feel connected to or commune with, when people are enacting things possibly in your name that you don't like, or when people are doing things that you judge as bad or wrong or unfair or unequal and possibly mean and evil and ignorant, how do you still love yourself? Well, you hold to your own integrity, you hold to your own belief systems, you hold to your own sacredness and your own power, higher power, and you pray for outcomes that are wise and fair and timely and correct. And then you surrender. Prayer is surrender. There's no other way around it. Prayer is surrender. You don't have the control, and you're asking for the control or the guidance or the clarity or the path to take, because you don't have control and you're asking for help. And that is what prayer is all about. Can you ask for help from your own center of your heart? Hold your integrity and hold your love and keep looking for the highest and the holiest to occur this year. Ahom and Takwiyas, and blessed be.